Good Friday afternoon, evening, wherever you may be.
Hey,
Victor,
hey.
how are you doing today?
It's Friday.
It's
Better
Friday.
than yesterday.
It's Friday evening, which is even better for you.
Exactly.
I still have a whole afternoon to go through. Hi, by the way, everybody
I
that's here
still
with
have
us.
a whole night to go through, so it's not it.
Yeah, that's true. Hi, everybody. My name is Darren. This over here is Victor, and we are the co-host of a podcast called DevOps Paradox that releases on Wednesdays at 6 a.m. Let's say Eastern this week, because I think it was 6 a.m. Eastern this week. And on Fridays when we're around, we are here to talk about news of the week. And I heard there was a purchase this week. We'll see how it
Is it confirmed?
It's confirmed. Yeah,
Okay.
it's a big one. We'll get to that in a minute. How is everybody doing? Man, it's been one of those weeks. It felt like it started out fast and then it got slow, or at least it did for me. I don't know if it was that way for you or not.
It's never slow. I don't know what you're talking about. What's that word?
Right, yeah, well, it wasn't slow, but it felt like it was dragging out. Maybe that's the better way to say it. Things were dragging today. I want to go ahead and get into this because we actually have we have AI back in the session today. We're going to do some stuff live. We are. Can you believe it?
Okay.
We'll see if it works or
Okay.
not. We'll see. Let's go ahead and
We
at
should
least
start doing bets, kind of, whether it will work or not.
Oh, by the way, Victor and I were recording some podcasts yesterday evening, I think my time, yeah. And one of the things that we're going to do live on one of these days is we're going to build a machine fresh using DevBox. By the way, Victor, I forgot. I have a laptop that needs to be rebuilt anyway. So
There we go.
we'll do it. We'll do it there. It's a shared laptop between me and my wife. Neither of us need a laptop full time. It's like, and usually when I need it, she doesn't need it. And when she needs it, I don't need it. So it's like, I don't need to buy a second laptop. But it needs to be upgraded from Ventura to Sonoma. So I'll do that part. And then I'll go in and create a profile for myself and we'll do that DevBox. But that's not today. Not today. Bill, good to see you.
Hey.
Is it Oktoberfest yet? Does it feel like Oktoberfest yet? Was this Martin? Good to see you.
You have only one guess when Oktoberfest is happening, Darren.
January? That would be a problem. And Nikos, good to see you from Greece. So what we have is Germany, the Netherlands, and Greece. Where are my people from Canada or U.S.? That's fine. Everybody's at work still.
I think it's too early for your people.
It is. They're still at work, and that's fine.
Yeah.
And I'm at lunch, so that's how I do this. Anyway, this week's episode was sort of building on top of a video you did a while back, talking about AI is not going to replace you, but the devs using it will.
Yeah. And
that's not going to change, except when you watch my demo later in this show, because you'll soon see that that won't happen either. I think this is going to become... I think 2024 is the beginning of it. I think 2025 will start ramping. 2026, it's going to break loose, I think. That's where I think it's going to be. Oh, hey, we got Finland. Okay, we got
Andy. Hi, Andy.
Andy's there?
Yeah.
Not yet, but summer's coming fast. I tell you what. So my sister lives in New York, and her kids were on spring break this week. Now I'm thinking it's almost the beginning of May, and they're just now having spring break. But they go to school until the day before July 1st. They go to June 30th. Amazing.
That's how it's here, more or less.
Is it? Okay. But when do you start? Do you start the first week of September?
Yeah,
Ish?
something like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We'll see. Yeah, in where I live, we start the first week of August or second week of August.
Okay. That's
And we-
vacation time, man.
Yeah, but we get out. I think here this year we're getting out the first Friday in June, because it's sort of May, June overlap in a week. So we get out like June 3rd. What are we talking about? It doesn't matter. Anyway, AI. We're talking about AI. How much longer do you think we really have, Victor, until it's true that
Until we're overtaken by
no
Terminator.
No. Because that's only 4 years away. But I think for where we're starting to use it on a really regular basis, I'm not there yet. I know you use it a lot more than I do.
I use it a lot, but I don't think that AI is there yet, right? Right now we're at a stage that we can see the possibilities, not necessarily our really there for any given area, right? So yeah, this is powerful. This is going somewhere. I don't know where that somewhere is yet. I mean, I use Copilot, I use GPT and what's not, but it's not as good and as useful. No, actually, let me rephrase it. It's incredible how much more useful it is than only a year ago, but it's still not as useful as it should be to really be a real helper, real assistant, 24/7. Not there yet.
I think so. Eric, good to see you.
Hey.
So anyway, podcast comes out on Wednesdays at 6 a.m. Eastern. Next week, we have our friends on from Port that I'm finishing up this weekend. I'm not done yet, but that'll be next week. Sebastian, good to see you. Thanks for being here live.
Hey.
So let's get into the news of the week. HashiCorp joins IBM to accelerate multi-cloud automation. You and I were talking.
Hey, sorry.
That's fine.
Me pressing the wrong button.
Okay, well, you're okay. So I'm going to move myself back. I'm going to move you below. I can't move anything right now. That's fine. It doesn't matter. We were talking about this last night. The key part to this is multi-cloud. This is the official press release on the HashiCorp site. Multi-cloud is the key part.
Here's the secret. Clouds are dominated by clouds, right? So AWS dominates AWS, and Azure dominates Azure, and Google dominates Google. The only way anybody can enter into that play is to go after things that they're not planning to dominate, right? Or not dominating, and that's multi-cloud, right? AWS doesn't have much interest to help you run stuff or do stuff in Azure and Google Cloud, right? And vice versa. So multi-cloud is the only play that companies like IBM can do.
Now, I don't have the press release, but there's been a lot of other press releases come out this week around this. It's either 6.4 or 6.8 billion dollars. Actually, we'll talk about that in a second. Karen, good to see you. Eric, oh yeah, the Red Hat acquisition was pivotal. We're going to talk about that in just a minute, Eric. Karen, good to see you. Thanks for being here. In fact, let's go and get into that. By the way, if you're watching live today on YouTube, all the links to what we're going through today are already down in the description. If you're watching us on X or Twitter, I'll say it either way. It doesn't bother me. Thanks for joining us live today from X or Twitter. What should we say? What's the rule now? Is it Twitter or is it X?
Nobody knows.
It's
By
Twitter.
the time we figure it out, it will be something else.
I'll call it Twitter Day. Okay, so fair warning.
Because now Elon has 1 year to buy TikTok.
We're not going to talk about that today. Fair warning, full disclaimer. This post on LinkedIn is from the founder of the company that I worked for. He still works at the company. He is now the chief strategy officer, I believe is his, or one of the founders, I should say. He's co-founder. I thought this was a very interesting post because the way he thinks about this is he was leading JBoss when they got acquired by Red Hat. So he's been through this path before. $6.4 billion. I like this. That's a lot of billions. But if you think about it, they've spent $40 billion in 6-ish years in 2 acquisitions. Are the shareholders happy with that? I don't know. I don't hold IBM.
I'm still having, when you look at those acquisitions, I'm having trouble to understand what is the IBM strategy, right? Because IBM acquisition was solidifying their on-prem situation, right? So we dominate on-prem. I hope that they were not going after cloud with Red Hat, right? So maybe now they're going after cloud. Maybe that's the play.
It could be. Bill's got a comment that I'm going to pull up in once we get a little bit further into this. It goes through, he's got a few points here. First, Red Hat employees are known to be hardcore defenders of open source ideals. I would agree with that. Some even closer to FSF, free software. I'm a toss. It just sort of depends. HashiCorp.
I mean, you can argue that that's true, but it's also true that Red Hat has been changing over time. So it's
Right. That's what I'm saying is at points of acquisition,
yeah.
these kinds of things were what they were. HashiCorp up until the BSL change, as Sacha calls out here, near perfect.
Yeah.
Merging the two entities, here's the key part to me. Merging the two entities will require IBM to agree to fully revert those changes. That means including the BSL nonsense, Sacha's words. Without this, forget it, the body will reject the transplant. Now, this is where Victor and I vehemently disagree. I'll go first, and then you can tell me why I'm wrong.
Okay.
I do not.
Just to be clarify, I'm not even trying to guess what IBM wants. I have a theory what I would do.
Yeah. So my theory in this is that the licenses will not revert back. They will stay where they're at or potentially go completely proprietary. That is my gut feel. Victor, on the other hand,
I think that they're going to no, I don't know what they're going to do. If I would be IBM, I would actually kill Terraform and other projects, put myself completely behind OpenTofu, and build enterprise offering on top of it. That's what I would do, because their reputation dropped drastically since the license change and all those things. They're losing business, which is questionable how much they had in the past. I'm now talking about HashiCorp, right? Losing business from tiny players, insignificant companies compared to the strength of HashiCorp. And they had to do that because that was the only way for them to try to somehow earn more money than they are earning on a very short run. IBM has capacity to ride that and say, okay, we might not need to get earnings immediately right away first month. We can actually play a longer game. We can squash competition by being the dominant company behind the open source, and build an enterprise offering that actually does make sense for a change. Actually, Vault always made sense, but I'm not sure that Terraform Cloud ever made sense. So I would not only so just to make it clear, it would make zero sense for IBM now to revert the license of Terraform and other projects. Zero sense, no sense at all. It would make sense to do that. It would make sense to go after OpenTofu because now OpenTofu is in a foundation. It's here to stay, right? So having two fully open source projects and one of them in foundation doesn't make sense, right? The only play they have is to go stand behind OpenTofu now. It's my bold prediction that will not come true.
see, I could back that one because that one makes sense and it's close to home. But I just don't. But see, you mentioned it. We're talking mainly about Terraform here and OpenTofu. You mentioned Vault.
Yeah, Vault should stay. I would not revert the license of Vault, just to be clear.
Right. But it's the same thing because somebody, I can't remember who it is, forked Vault. Right? So is it going to be, now I don't know if it made it in a foundation or not, but it's their full suite. It wasn't just Terraform, it was all the products.
Vault is the type of the product that companies are not going for open source. I mean, tiny companies, yes, but right, that's so critical that you don't want to play with that, right? You're going for enterprise right away, right? Now, and projects like Vault do not benefit much from adoption, right? It's not like, hey, first we're going to adopt it for a couple of years as open source and then we're going to go for enterprise. No, companies go straight into enterprise for that type of project, right? Product. I wouldn't worry about Vault. And Terraform is realistically the only other product that really, really matters, right? There are other really cool, important, amazing projects from HashiCorp, but at the end of the day, it's all about Vault and Terraform. Those are the two that matter at that scale.
I agree. I want to go through some of the comments that we're
Did
getting
you
right
notice, sorry for interrupting, that
Yeah.
nobody cried over Nomad changing the license, right?
now. Didn't matter. Let me see. I do want to go back to this. Bill, that's how I type it. I don't want to say it every time. That's the problem. Good to see you, Mahmoud. Kenya. Okay, man, we are all over
Yeah.
CET. Where are we? Probably we're UTC through CET today. I like it. Yes, OpenBow was IBM. I remember that. I don't know. I agree with this. What do you think, Victor? Oh yeah,
I don't know. I don't care.
No, we do know this. IBM. I'm sorry. I saw Red Hat as HashiCorp. IBM pushed a Red Hat license change. I think, but I agree with you. I don't care.
Because most of us are now running. So, when I say I don't care because I rarely do anything self-managed in my own data center, right? I'm in cloud. And cloud means two options. Either I'm running in something in Kubernetes, or I'm using one of the services like Google Cloud Run or ECS or whatever, right? If I'm running in Kubernetes, I couldn't care any more or less. I cannot care less anymore what is the operating system. And if I care, that's definitely not RHEL. Definitely not RHEL or CentOS, or I don't care in that. And Google Cloud Run, who knows? Or similar other services, kind of. Nobody knows what's behind it, and nobody cares, right? So RHEL matters only for on-prem, and on-prem is big. It's important. It's just I happen not to work much with it. So I don't care.
I missed Bill's initial comment that I wanted to show. Now we know why HashiCorp changed their license to make the acquisition by IBM sweeter.
My best guess is that their stock price plummeted after they went IPO, right? I think that they were not making they stopped making strategic decisions. They just tried anything, right? Kind of like, is there anything else we can do, no matter how good or bad it is, to save us from going down to oblivion, right? Financially. And somebody said, hey, we can look at there are some small companies earning peanuts compared to what we are earning. Why don't we actually stop them from doing that and by changing the license? Yeah, let's do it, right? Nobody told that person that you can fork a project. Come on.
Eric cut out a couple more. We laughed about Nomad, but I use Vagrant on a daily basis still, because VMs are still an important part to me.
They're great projects, right? But on a level of importance, cannot, especially for a company, for HashiCorp, they cannot be compared to Terraform and Vault, right? Those are the major ones in the usage and strategic importance for companies. The rest is great. I mean, Vagrant is great. I'm not using it much lately, but it's absolutely amazing. Nomad, we would. How many hours we have here just to know whether to talk about Nomad or not?
We don't need to talk about Nomad anymore. It's fine. Bill, I did see this video. I thought it was interesting. Once it comes to CLAs, which is what he was talking about, contribution license, I can't remember what the A stands for. I think you have to be careful. If you are contributing to an open source project that is managed by a single company, that's a red flag to me.
We learned that lesson. That's what we learned.
Yeah.
Go, if you want to contribute to something, contribute to a project in a foundation. There is CNCF, there is Apache, there is Eclipse, whatever else, right? There is a bunch of foundations. Those are not controlled directly by a single company. Right? It's not that they're not controlled by, slightly more complicated for a single company to do things and contribute there, right? And to make it clear, I'm an open source person. I have nothing against companies building commercial projects, right? Nothing against. I think it's great. I think that everybody needs to earn money. What is silly is to start with open source, get the benefits from it, and then say, not anymore. That I'm very much against, right? So I would make it illegal to change the license. It should be whatever you started with. choose commercial, open source, Apache, MIT, whatever you want, and you have to stick with it. That's what I think.
I'd forgotten about this, and I should always remember Rails used heavily with OpenShift because it's, for anything that matters, I guess.
Yes, but my prediction, and this is my best guess, is that Rel on cloud providers makes sense because it makes companies feel more comfortable moving parts of their workloads to cloud, right? But eventually they will say, okay, but why are we doing this? Well, why are we using, I don't know, OpenShift, right? If we have EKS, AKS, GK, right? That's coming. I'm willing to place a bet here that the market share of OpenShift in cloud will be dropping. It will not be increasing. Maybe for a short while, but in the long run, for sure, dropping. It makes no sense. They cannot compete with AWS, Google, and Azure on that one.
Yep. Unless, I don't even think it matters anymore. I'm not going to go there. I did see the cease and desist. I did not read it, so I don't want to comment on it because it's really legal at that point.
Yeah,
but I saw it. And that's fine.
I saw it. I went through it. I went through the response from OpenTofu, and I must say that the response from OpenTofu makes more sense.
This last comment here: the beauty of open source and having traceability.
Mm-hmm.
When you can prove it, that makes it. So anyway, I want to call out the last paragraph from Sacha's post, and we'll move on. Post-acquisition times are messy, frustrating, and can be hugely upsetting. Been through that a few times. In those times, I always try to remind myself of this quote: "Don't see malice where incompetence will do."
Yes. Yes.
It's business, right? It's not people are being malicious, but they can be incompetent, and incompetent isn't necessarily a negative thing. Victor and I talked about this yesterday, and then I'll let you go for this. Incompetence means I just don't know what I'm doing.
Exactly.
That's not a negative thing. It's not a positive thing. It's a thing. And it's okay that I don't know what I'm doing. The problem is when I think I know what I'm doing and I don't know what I'm doing. That's the problem.
So the problem with changing license for HashiCorp is not whether they did a good thing or a bad thing, kind of from humanitarian perspective. It's that they did a bad thing from business perspective. They're losing because of that. It backfired, and that's pure incompetence that might or might not be combined with malice.
Okay. I would say read Sacha's post and then go through all the comments. I think it was about, now again, I'm biased. I work for him in some way, shape, or form. I don't report to him anymore, but okay, whatever.
No, that last sentence or near the last sentence, malice, that kills it. That's the one.
Yeah. That's it. So I feel fine. Everything's good. Read the post. Let me see if there were any other comments I'm going to grab here before we move on. Okay, let's go ahead and I'll pull them up here. I think there are also large industry Vault. Yep, and Terraform. Agreed. Yes. Yeah, for sure. There are thousands of modules. Now, this is the problem, but
that's why I said you cannot. I would not allow anybody. I would allow anybody to use any license they want, but not to change the license later, right? That's the problem because of those contributions, right? It's open source. We have a large community of people contributing, and it's true that they might have been negatively affected by some bad players, but you cannot punish good ones because of the bad ones. That's bad. That's wrong.
Yep. And then was doing what other companies did. Yeah. And we have repeatedly said, we do not fault HashiCorp in this at all. They're a business. It was their software. They could do with it what they wanted. Period. End of story. I think they did. Do I feel like they are in the Do I feel, how do I say this safely? Do I feel ethically that it was correct? No, I think that's what you're saying, Victor, as well, right? That's like, you had a license, don't change the license. That's where I want to stick, I think.
You gain benefits from being open source, and now you see benefits for not being open source. And I understand that, but you are screwing some people over, right? That's the problem. And it's your right to do, and it's the rest of the world's right to fork it. And OpenTofu is so far doing, against my expectations, very well. Right? And that's what, and there is a mention in one of the comments about Redis and Mongo. I don't follow those projects, but I have an impression that actually gathering around the fork did not happen for those that much. And yeah, so I would summarize it as saying that Mongo and Redis made a better call than HashiCorp when changing the license. That's it.
Okay, so let's move on from this, sort of. In the same space this week, there was an announcement from Pulumi, which happened before all of this stuff went down. So they have a new infrastructure lifecycle management features. Drift detection and remediation. Hallelujah. Is that really a... Because you're in this space as well, Victor. So I'm going to try to ask this as non-confrontationally as possible. Isn't that table stakes today? Drift detection and remediation?
Yes. Where we are... everybody is in agreement that drift detection and remediation is needed. And actually, we have drift detection and remediation since beginning of Terraform, right? I mean, Ansible has it. Right? It's not new. What we are mostly arguing is how that is accomplished, right? And there are huge differences between different ways to do it without entering now into details and start shaming somebody.
No need for shaming. We don't need to do that. Time to live stacks. That's actually pretty nice. Clean up stale infrastructure. So basically give it a death date. I like that.
But that's as stale as if not used, right? I'm not sure what that means.
I haven't looked at the detail of it. So I'm going to say, well, we'll at least spend this much time. We'll see if it tells us exactly what. A time to live stack. Directly creating temporary environments for running experiments and stuff. So you don't forget about it, right? That's how many times have we spun up a stack and forgot to turn it down, and then we get the bill. Scheduled deployments, sweet. Free deployment minutes, sweet. Yeah. So I like these two. I think these are the top one is I think table stakes. The next one is that's really nice.
Yeah, exactly. No, those are great features, and everybody, I mean, especially the first one, everybody needs to reinvest in those.
Yep. Okay. That's almost all the stuff we're going to be talking about as infrastructure as code. Almost. There's going to be one more thing, but not right now. Kubenomicon.
What the heck is this?
So this...
And do make a better logo, whatever it is.
It's sort of steampunk, but not really steampunk.
It's not, is it supposed to scare you?
I guess. I guess. I don't know. So
maybe it's kind of like scroll down as soon as possible not to see it.
Yeah, okay. That's what I'm trying to do. So understanding Kubernetes from an offense. So this is mainly it was based on the Microsoft Kubernetes threat matrix. And basically these are all the different things. So, using cloud credentials, what are things? So this is just giving you different things of, okay, what should I think about? How should I think about this when I'm setting up a cluster? And not necessarily just setting up the cluster, but, protecting my kube config file. Say that 3 times fast.
Yeah.
So I think this is a good sanity checklist that should be automated into a tool, which there probably already is. But
so is this more like a
it's a reference
documentation?
Document. Yes.
Okay. No, it's not a tool. Okay, cool.
It is not a tool. This is not a tool at all.
Make a tool.
Right. Well, and he references some tools in the different sections as well. Goes into fundamentals.
Wrapper of the tools then.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever. I thought it was interesting.
Nice.
I'm I'm sad you don't like the logo. I think it's cool because it's sort of in that Jules Verne look, right? It's not full on steampunk, but it's that.
I mean, it
that
does
old
make
look.
some sense, kind of like, okay, kind of threats to your Kubernetes cluster, I guess. Yeah.
Because you think about what 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, the big octopus takes over the. Oh, never mind. Okay. One more Terraform related thing. Inkdrop. This is a Terraform visualizer. It's a CLI that creates interactive diagrams to visualize your Terraform. So it takes your Terraform definition and creates a visualization. Wow or not wow?
Nice. I mean, it's nice and it's easier way to do it, not necessarily the right way. The right way would be visualize your infrastructure. And then maybe connect it with Terraform or State or whatever else to kind of see whether there are differences, whatever. But what I really want is to visualize my infrastructure rather than the state, right?
Right. But anyway, I thought it was interesting.
Nevertheless, it's cool. It's
Yeah.
cool.
Why is it on an AI domain? That's the other part I didn't understand. Visualize.
Buy it while you still can. That's the buy.
That's why. Okay. Buy it while you still can. You can put it in there. A couple of people. All part of Techstars and Swiss. Okay. So that's Inkdrop. Your video this week was about KCL, living on the
Yes.
configuration languages theme.
Yeah, I promise I'll stop with configuration languages for a while. Or
I saw a
type
brand new one
languages.
today.
Which one? Don't see, Darin, please. Shut
saw-
up.
I did.
No.
I'll give you the name.
Nope.
Okay.
Don't generate work for me. Okay. Look at this. I'm not watching this anyways. You have like 15 seconds.
Okay. So it's BCL. It was by somebody that was doing a side project. So now it's based on HCL. It's called B Bravo CL. BCL.
Okay, I assume that we're done.
We're done.
You did not generate work for me. I avoided work for me now. Cool.
Okay. Let's go into some of the AI stuff that we have.
Yeah, okay.
Promptfoo. Promptfoo.dev, not AI. Promptfoo.dev. I'm actually going to do a video on this probably in the next few weeks. This gives you the ability to put different models head to head. And you can pop it into... It's basically like integration testing of your models. And you can get some output of it too. But it's a CLI. So here's what I liked the best of it. So you run the eval on it, and then it goes off and gives you the whatevers. So I haven't played with it yet. I haven't.
This is kind of comparison table of some sorts, right?
Correct.
Nice.
Or just seeing how it did compared to, let's say you got a new version of a model. Like they updated the model from version 1 to version 2. Is it still okay? Is it what I expect?
It looks like a tool that shouldn't
Have to exist?
be used by people, but simply that the author of the tool should just publish reports and then I read it instead of spending tremendous amount of time comparing it myself, right?
Right. But
Should
here's
be
the key.
report. Tool that generates report, and that's it.
Yeah,
By
but
that.
But for me, the other part is I'm wanting to compare sort of like this, how this left side is. I'm wanting to compare different models. So which model is giving me the answer that I like the best?
Yeah.
So I think there's something to it. I just haven't had time to work on it. It feels very, what was the testing tool where you wrote basically a table? It's like, it was one of the BDD tools.
Oh, yeah. Given, when, then. Something.
Yes. I can't remember what it was.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what it feels like.
Okay.
But anyway, promptfoo.
Nice.
KitOps is basically like, well, this picture says it all. You basically bundle the model and ship the model to somebody else. You turn it into effectively a container image.
Okay, I was about to say, is it container image? Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So
what
standard
it
format, cool.
Yep. So it's just a different way to pass the models around. Don't know why,
So
but
I guess that the pass means build a container image, store it in a registry, let somebody else pull it from there, right? Hopefully not I'm going to FTP it to you, right? Or something like that.
so I've got to, this is one I'm going to take a look at closer to. I'm not there yet with it. And now,
build Cucumber.
is it
He
Cucumber?
has good memory, or he's still working
thanks.
with Cucumber, the
Cucumber.
BDD tool, yeah.
I remember Cucumber's one of them, but I was thinking of a different one too, because it was a really bad wiki, and I can't remember what it is.
Worked with BDD for a
Okay.
long
Anyway,
while.
here's today's tool, AI Chat. This was dropped in the Slack workspace. I can't remember who sent it over. Please forgive me, whoever did send it over, but thank you for sending it. I went down a really bad rabbit hole last night. So this is a very interesting CLI to interact with numerous models at the same time. I found it out. So let me go ahead and change up my sharing here real quick so I can get back to full screen. So share screen, entire screen, and let's go over to this screen. Okay. So add it back. All right. So here's what I got. Throw that there. Let's go up here. Is it still zoomed? Okay. Let me just zoom it a little bit more. And it doesn't help any. Okay, so AI Chat. So the way I installed this on this machine was I did a brew install. That's all I did. Okay. Then I had to, when I first started out, it walked me through an interactive setup for configuration. Let me show you what the configuration file looks like. And it's going to look gnarly. I'll pull it over here. So this was the thing. Now I'm using Olama locally. It's on my network. You don't have to give it an API key. And I'm specifying the Llama 3 model with max input tokens. That's all I'm doing right now. So when I created AI Chat, it walked me through. It created two files in my configuration directory. We'll take a look at that in a minute. It created the config YAML, and there was also, I'm not sure if messages MD was created at that point. This foo is for me for a little bit later. That's because I needed to save something off to the side. So what I have here is AI Chat. Let me pull this over here just a little bit. Do you want me to zoom it up a little bit more? There we go. Chat, and I do info. So it's telling me which model it's using and where my config files. They also have roles and sessions too. We'll look at the docs on that. I haven't done anything with that yet. So basic configurations. The config file, which I just showed you in VS Code, here is the official one that's config example YAML. So it walks you through. So if you're using different models, you can use OpenAI, Gemini, Claude, Mistral, Cohere, Perplexity, which I want to play with Perplexity some, Grok.
It's mostly to enable certain models and to give them keys.
Correct.
I'm guessing, right? Yeah.
Right. Azure OpenAI, Vertex, Ernie, something Moonshot. Right. So if you're trying to figure out how to use this, take a look at this config example. It's at the root of this repository. So let's go back to the examples that are here. I'm not going to do the first one first. So I'm going to say clear. So I'm going to say echo hello, AI Chat, what was it? Translate to Spanish. Right? Generating. Now currently the only model I have is Llama 3 that I'm using. Oh, okay. That's great. It probably had to warm up because I might have shut it down. Translate to French. Okay.
Oh, okay. So it was
Translate
for a second.
Tagalog. Watch this. Oh, you got it.
Okay.
It didn't get that yesterday.
Nice.
So this is simple, right? A nice, very basic check is like, okay, does that work? If I was to check, let's go back to one of the other ones here. Let's do this AI Chat. So if I say AI Chat -E, that means execute whatever I'm getting ready to tell you.
Mm-hmm.
And I say, check out GitHub PR100. Whatever, right? I hit that. Then it gives me the command, and then I can choose to execute, describe, or abort.
Nice.
By default is execute, but if I hit D, then it tells me what's going on.
Nice.
But I'm going to go ahead and abort because this doesn't make any sense for what we're doing.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what's missing? The option missing there? Copy.
Copy. Just save it for me. I want to do one more, and then I'll go to where we want to go to next. Oh, there's also a REPL. Let's look at the REPL. So I can just type Aichat. Now I'm there. So now I can say translate. We'll do that again. Translate hello to Spanish. I don't know if that'll work or not. Let's see, because I didn't try this. Oh, okay. So it did that.
Nice.
And if I want to exit, it's sort of where everything's a dot command. So you have to do dot exit. And that works.
Okay. I mean,
Now,
they probably had to distinguish it from the text itself.
Right. So I want to go to the next one that I had on my list. Because Llama 3 is a text-only model, if I want it to extract and tell me what's on an image, it's not going to. I've got an example for that. So if I look for, I'm just going to look back in my history. So I downloaded one of the thumbnails for the episode. And it's AI chat. Give it the file. It's in downloads. -- output only text and image. So if I do it right now, the current model lacks the corresponding capability. Makes sense, right? Because it doesn't have vision capability.
Exactly.
That's fine. Now, this is where my foo comes in. So I'm going to copy this. I also have Lava installed on the machine where a llama is running.
What's lava? Something text.
Lava is a text. It's multimodal. It's text and vision.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's why, and that's one of the things I can do here. I can specify a capability, text and vision. If we go back over here, what we'll see, I think it was here, there's capabilities.
Yeah.
Right now it's only text and vision, but yeah, that's fine. So this top model, or this isn't the model, this is sort of like the skeleton of what you would do. This gives you all the different options. So now I've done that. I haven't done anything else. I've not touched my server where my models are running. So if we
you
go
don't
back,
need to restart the process or anything.
no, because the process is AI chat. So now when I run this,
Okay. You're not in a command prompt of Aichat. Okay, cool.
Nope.
Cool.
No, I am remotely connecting over because that's what the config
Yeah.
is. So if I run this, then it's referencing my image. And then eventually it should come back. Artificial intelligence will not replace you. Developers using AI will. Let's see if that's true or not. I can't remember if that was... Is it? No, I can't remember if that's what I actually had on the image or not. Let's see.
Yeah.
Will not replace you. Devs using... Oh, it says devs using AI.
I mean-
So it's close.
Yeah. Okay. So it's not really extracting it; it's interpreting it in a way, right?
Correct.
Because it didn't maintain the cases and what's not.
Didn't maintain the cases. It did, and it spelled out developers instead of devs. But
That's
still
strange, but okay.
pretty impressive to me.
Yeah.
I think it's cool.
Say, what else does it say there?
What do you mean?
It doesn't remember, right? If you go if you execute it as a CLI command every time, it doesn't have a history, no?
So that's interesting. Yeah, if you execute it as a CLI command, it does not have a history. Now, that's where this messages MD comes into play. So let me go back to the REPL. So I'll just say AI chat. And then we will pay attention to what's going on. Because if we take a look at the bottom of this, let's see. When we checked it earlier, oh, it actually did. Because
Okay,
here's
nice.
it did
So you
remember
could
it.
theoretically now ask, what else does it say in that picture? Because there is some other text. I'm probably asking
Let's
too
see.
much now.
What else is said in the picture? I don't know. I don't know if it's going to work or not.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't really maintain the context,
No.
which is might sound like me nitpicking, but that's a big one.
Let's see.
Because very often you will not get what you want from the first attempt, right?
Let me try this. So I'm going to say output the text from the image at, we'll do that this way. Home, whoops, that won't work. Downloads, haven't tried this obviously. 260 dash YouTube, I think. .jpg.
You're probably now in RAPL on the side of the server, not anymore local or something like that.
Yeah, that's probably
need to
true.
do the same command from CLI directly.
Okay, so let's go back and do that again. So we'll go back to this. Okay. And then what you want to say is...
What else does it say there?
What else is said on the image? Whoops. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There
Sort
we
of.
go.
I mean...
We did... because first time you said explicitly text, this time you didn't say text, so interpreted what is said as if what's on the image, but nice.
But notice I'm not having to specify which model to use. It figures out what model to use because it's determining that, oh, you're talking about, it appears you're talking about images or something. Let me try that model. I'm guessing. I don't know.
Nice.
And then there's a few other things too that I haven't tested. Do you want to try those real quick? What time is it? Yeah, we got a couple minutes. So you can add roles. This is one I haven't tested at all live. Let me get onto the role example. Like one of the examples they had here was they had a TOML file, which I don't think I have anything here, and like convert it to JSON. -C is convert. Actually, let's look at.
Can you do me a favor and just do another one?
Yep.
Which model did you use earlier?
With just the text.
Yeah, just the text.
Is
Which model
Llama
did
3.
you use?
It's Llama 3.
No, I want to ask him. It.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, no file, just Aichat.
So Aichat, which model did you use earlier when processing the image?
Yeah, earlier. Let's make it, don't make it too easy.
Don't make it too easy. Oh, it doesn't like the question mark. Oh, see, it doesn't.
No.
So it doesn't know because there's no context right now. So messages, I guess, I haven't dug into it to figure out how it's using messages other than logging.
Yeah.
Let's double check. So you can do roles. I'm going to go down to where the role thing was. Here's all the different options. So you can specify a model if you want. You can select a role, sessions, save a session, which is interesting. Execute commands, output code only. Let's try that. Aichat -C. I want to look at that example earlier before. What was it? Echo server and Node.js. Okay. So what do you want me to tell it? What do we want it to code?
Kubernetes deployment manifest.
Create a Kubernetes deployment manifest for something in particular?
Yeah, just give it
that.
enter. Yeah. Cool.
That seems reasonable, right?
I mean, yeah. And without C, would it? What would we get without the C?
It's a good question. Let's check.
Because ideally I would get the manifest, but also explanation. Hey, change the image, right? Or port or whatever. Yeah. That's the one. That's it.
Right. So by doing the -C, it just
Because
gave me
if
the code.
I'm outputting a Kubernetes deployment, I probably don't know much about it. Otherwise, I wouldn't be asking AI.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. The role.
Oh, there's a good one from Eric.
Which one? Oh, okay. I'll do that. AI chat. How do I keep / retain, good grief, retain the context with each conversation?
With you.
I'll leave it there.
And with you. I'm curious if that would change
With
anything.
you. No.
Yeah, no.
That doesn't help. Good question though. Oh, this was funny. I didn't catch that earlier. Why did it add the exclamation point mark for French? I don't know. It just did.
If it was Italian, then I would understand. Italians tend to yell more than others.
Yeah. I want to try to at least try the. We did the REPL sort of. Let's see. There's all the different dot commands for doing the REPL. Oh, let's try the REPL here. Let's do this. Clear. So AI chat. If I say a dot file, home, downloads, 260 YouTube, JPEG. Am I lying to myself?
Just copy that and execute it without REPL, LL or something.
Oh wait, it may not know how to deal with home. It may not expand home.
Okay, maybe. Yeah, that makes sense.
That would be reasonable. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So output. What was the prompt before? Output the text from the
That
image only. Oh,
Yeah.
your mama. Okay.
Yeah. That's critical. To me, that's probably the most important feature of working with any AI, retaining context.
Yeah. And it may be, and I'm just not driving it right, which
Maybe.
is fine to know as well.
Isn't that what intelligence is? It should tell you, hey man, you don't know how to talk to me.
Yeah.
Doing it wrong. This is how we speak.
So you can define a role. So I'm going to go ahead and just copy this and create a roles YAML file real quick, and then we'll call it a day. So I'm going to put in a new file here called roles YAML. And I'm just going to paste this in because that's all I care about. Okay. We'll go back into the REPL. Where am I? Clear. So I'll say, oh, good grief. The conversation. Oh, that's actually interesting. The conversation's been clear. What's on your mind?
Yeah, except that he didn't understand the conversation before, so
Yeah.
it's been clear all the time.
Shell. Yeah. Oh, it doesn't know. Okay, here I need to get out of the REPL because it doesn't, because I did it underneath it. That's fine. Clear. AI chat. Okay, so here I'm just going to copy this because I'm being lazy. Okay, so I'm going to say .role shell. I like that how it prompts it. Like it turns it sort of into a prompt, so you know what you're in. Okay, sure. I mean, I don't know if it's right or not, but let's AI chat.
Going to the last Eric's question, yes, ChatGPT Online, assuming that we're talking about browser, retains the conversation. And actually, if you start coding interaction with some AI like ChatGPT, that's probably the first thing you learn. Okay, so I'm not sending requests only. I'm sending requests that contain the whole conversation that I wanted to be aware of, right? Because if you write your own code and you send a request to ChatGPT, that's a session, right? It will forget everything. You need to send all the previous conversation for it to understand what's going on, right? When you write your own, and that's kind of embedded into browser version of ChatGPT.
Okay, so I think Jack, I'm assuming it's Jack. If I'm messing it up, I apologize. Maybe start a session. That wouldn't make too much sense because when I take a look at the documentation, it says by default, AI chat behaves in a one-off request response manner.
Ah, come on, that's so silly with the default behavior, but okay.
Okay. All right, so we say AI chat. I'm going to say .session. Okay, now I'm going to say .file. This will be it, because now I feel like I actually got something done. Okay, so it's going to do this. Okay, now I'm going to say output only the text from the image. This is what happens when you don't read the manual. Dun, 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 dun. It worked.
Okay, nice.
I mean, initially,
I would argue that, look, if you start a RAPL, that is a session, logically.
but I could also argue that it doesn't need to be either. Right? I can buy it either way.
Fair enough.
I mean, just thinking about it, and then I could save the session if I wanted to, which I'm not going to.
Yeah, cool.
Actually, I'm going to save it real quick because I want to see where it goes. So I'm going to say .exit session, and then we'll call it a day. Yes. Session name, I'm going to call it image foo. And then I'm done. Let's go over to our config and see what happened here. Sessions. And there's image foo. And there's everything that happened in that session. Sort of. Big image.
Yeah. Nice.
That's pretty cool. Jack, if I messed up your name, thank you for doing the homework while I was sort of trying to figure out what to do. So we should be back Friday? Yeah. We'll be back next week unless something weird goes on. I think we're here.
Yeah.
I'm not going to call it fun. We learned something.
Nice to see it. I liked it.
It's interesting.
You know what I like the most? Then I don't have to.
What?
What I like the most about sessions, like the one you just did.
You didn't have to do it.
Exactly.
Okay. That's fine. Okay. Anyway, we'll be back next week. And I think that should be, we're back next week. I'm just trying to think because I'm out of town one day next week. So I'm trying to do the math.
Nice.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you again next week.